Tattenham Corner. There is Tattenham Corner. From the outside of the racetrack, there is one of the biggest. And there's our trusted driver, Colin, ever faithful.
Well, we are currently strategically positioned on the lawns here at the Holiday Inn Express, overlooking the Duchess and the Queen stands here at Epsom Downs. And the latest news to surface is that the Dante Stakes winner, Telecaster, has pleased Hughie Morrison to such an extent that he's decided to ask the owners to cough up a monumental fee of 85,000 British pounds. Along with Sir Dragonaut, of course, the winner at Chester, also 85,000 pounds, which makes it 170,000 pounds added to the kitty of the already enormous stake of 1.6 million pounds, British that is. So before we get into the nitty-gritty of the race, we're going to take a walk over to the Derby Arms and we're going to catch up with a guy by the name of Jim Boyle, who's been training racehorses in Epsom for the past 19 years. And it just so happens that one of his dear friends is a bloke by the name of Paul Lafferty, altogether familiar to all South African horse racing fans, just as Donald Trump is known to the populace of America. And we're going to find out from them just how important this race is to this district, just as the Vodacom Durban July is to Greyville. Obviously, this race started back in around about 1779. So without any further ado, let's catch up first of all with Paul Lafferty and thereafter with Jim Boyle about the 2019 renewal of the Investec Derby. You've been privileged and honoured to work here on a good few occasions. You were here for Galileo, Workforce, Camelot. What's it like to be back here with your good old mate Jim Boyle?
Oh, it's great to be here. I love being here, and Jim and I, we're outside our favourite watering hole, the Derby Arms. I come out here so often. He's a trainer, trains down the road here. And it's fantastic being back, but seeing everything, the buildings going up again, all these tents, it just brings back great memories, because when you work it out, we're still 5-6 days away from the race.
The funny thing is that Epsom is such an it's the holy grail of English horse racing, and yet somehow, for some reason, there's no longer a very strong presence of trainers over here that represent the Sir Michael Stouts and the John Gosdens and the Aidan O'Briens who come here and plunder and conquer. It's kind of sad in a way, but I think that they accept the reality for what it is.
I think, to me, it's a tragedy. You know, they're so close to London, your business hub. Why aren't more people investing here? I know they've had issues getting more stables put up here, but I think the same Ledger winner came from Epsom. I can see it cultivating again, I really can, but Jim will be able to answer those questions, because he's been involved with a lot of work here on the Downs, getting sorted out more stables and that. And one day it could be that big, because if you're in London, wouldn't you rather pop down the road to Epsom?
No question in my mind, as Epsom has undergone an enormous change this year. There was criticism that Epsom did not have the same kind of visibility that an Epsom Derby host should have, and I believe through the Jockey Club and through the authorities and through the local councils, that is a massive change this year.
Absolutely. Whoever's got in charge of the marketing has done a wonderful job. We discussed earlier about how the July has a build-up for months to get it right. How the Melbourne Cup, the major races around the world. And having lived in Epsom, coming out to see my family and spend a lot of time out here, and done this week, I feel that they've missed something. And now they're having parades, they're having bands. This is going to be a massive year, and I think it's going to turn the locals back into great fans of this fabulous race.
As a Epsom trainer from the start, you know, I started training in Epsom 19 years ago, and I've been here ever since. Absolutely love the place. It's obviously a pretty magical week for us. It'd be much more magical if we were here pitching in with runners in the Derby and the Oaks, obviously. But this year we're going to have one or two runners over the meeting, which would be nice. Look, there's a huge buzz about the place. As Laff alluded to earlier, you know, there's a lot more work gone into trying to make Epsom and the town much more recognisant of the Derby and what's going on around it. So yeah, there's definitely a buzz about the place now, and we train out on the downs, so all the infrastructure going up in the week or two before the Derby, you can see it happening all around you. It can be a bit tricky for the horses sometimes when you're training on the downs and there's tents going up and you've got workmen working away. So we need to work fairly carefully with the management around it to make sure it's safe. But yeah, it's great to be involved all around.
Jim, have you got anything that we can follow during the course of this week?
Well, as I mentioned, we've got at least one horse entered over the Derby Festival, and she's a really nice filly of mine. She's won over the course, which is a big plus at Epsom. She's called Hatea. She's a 16-to-1 shot, and hopefully that'll prove big value on the day. And we're just rooting for a big run out of her. We'd love to have a winner on our home track over the Derby Festival, and we'll be doing everything we can to try and ensure that happens.